I'm John Bishop and you're watching the Redmen TV.
Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV following Liverpool's 2-1 defeat at the hands of AVB's Tottenham Hotspur side. One word match review. Anyway, let's have some of your Facebook comments before we talk a little bit about the match. Zayed Halabi says, we made a couple of mistakes and were punished with 2 goals. Loads of easy chances wasted. Harder work is required. Jose proved himself. Yeah. Chris Yerod Evans, I'm going to presume that's Welsh, struggled. We owned Spurs second half. Bad decisions by ref, but at the end of the day, we need to improve a lot. Everywhere. End of. Brian Galeana Hernandez says, Spurs have quality wingers. We do not. Sterling was really quiet today. Dave Noonan opted for a slightly different approach. Fuck's sake, fucking wank. What are we bastard well settling for these days? John Wilson says Downing syndrome. That's not funny. You shouldn't laugh at that. Nick Weir says 17 points off the pace. Fucking do something, Rodgers. It's not even January and we are so far behind. Kyle Allison says same shit, different day. And Anthony Perez, the roundup for says frustrating not to have gotten 3 or even 1 point. Bale's own goal, however, was brilliant. What a tit. Same old pre-January Liverpool. You'll never walk alone. Yes, I did fear for a moment that the highlight of that game was going to be Monkey Boy getting it in the face, and that was a highlight. Let's be clear on that. I want to talk a little bit about Gareth Bale. I want to talk about the performance on the whole, but Gareth Bale booked for simulation. Where was the outrage? Where was the commentators saying this is disgraceful? Gareth Bale bringing the game into disrepute, diving, deservedly booked. And you know what, even the fact, I don't know, obviously people watching things on different streams, the commentary I had and they go, oh, that's happened to him before, that happened last season. Yeah, it happened last season, so he's been a fucking diver for 2 years then. Yeah, and again, the point is, and the problem is that Luis Suarez has militarised us to a certain extent. Look, I'm not going to defend any of Luis Suarez's antics. If he does dive, then he deserves to be punished for it. But the fact of the matter is, if Suarez is getting punished for things, then other players, fucking hell, Jordi or what, other players need to be punished to the same level, or to the same extent. And if players like Suarez are getting dragged through the mud for being, disgraceful, horrible little divers, fucking Gareth Bale is 10 times worse. He just but no, he's a phenomenal player, and to be honest, he was the first half. Well, the first 15 minutes, as the Spurs unleashed blitzkrieg on us and absolutely, basically tried to wipe us off the face of the earth in the first 15 minutes, was exceptional. And Gareth Bale just looked out of this world. That being said, what did he do second half? Absolutely fuck all. Anyway, now looking at the game as a whole, I think it's fair to say that we dominated the vast majority of the game. That being said, the counter argument simply has to be Spurs are 2-0 up, why do they need to come out at us? They don't. And that's got to be a contributing factor to the fact that we were so dominant. I mean, look at the possession, we absolutely smashed them in the possession stakes. Shots wise, very similar. But you'll notice, and this is the thing about Spurs, they flattered to deceive in some regard, because they just shot from distance. They had loads of speculative effort, and it forces saves, and it gets you excited. It makes you feel like you're watching a game where Spurs are doing a lot more than they are. Whereas I think we actually, creatively, particularly in the opponent's half, we were a lot more threatening. And in the first half, we were 2-0 down, but we could easily have been 3-2 up within 10 minutes of going 2 down. Luis Suarez has a one-on-one that he doesn't quite slot. There's a chance that I think Enrique has a chance to cut it back. There's a couple of little, Jordan Henderson basically misses an open goal. Not the easiest of chances, I'll say, under pressure, but nonetheless, it's still an opportunity there to get a goal back, and we don't take it. And again, I I feel like it's like sat in a room having a conversation with myself, because I know the responses of the miserable twats out there, and I'm not saying you're not entitled to be miserable. Be miserable, because I nearly felt miserable myself for a while there. You're watching the game on a shitty stream, you might be watching it in some far-flung country up at piss o'clock in the morning, and I can understand being a little bit downbeat on that. But you can't. It's people saying it's the same old story. Yeah, but is it really? I don't remember a story quite like that. I don't think we've really seen a great deal of that. What's important to note in that game is that it was another game where we didn't disgrace ourselves. But so all the people who think we're shit, we're clearly not shit. Because if people think we're that shit, they've got a very fucking short memory. I've seen shit. You've probably seen shit, and if you haven't seen shit, then you haven't been a Liverpool fan for very long. No shame in that, of course, but all told, you need to have a little bit of perspective. Look at the performance of the season. There's only one game. We discussed this on the show this week. The only one game this season where we've been second best in the league, and that was Arsenal. The only game where we were just not good enough, weren't at the races, and did not deserve to come away with anything. The problem we discussed this on the subscriber show this week, is the way we're playing at the moment with the lack of goals. It's fine margins. You're only ever a goal away from victory, but equally you're only ever a goal away from defeat if you're drawing a lot of games. And today Spurs came flying out the blocks. We couldn't handle them to take a 2-goal lead, and then for a side that's not exactly blessed with goals from all angles, so to speak, we were always going to struggle to get back into that. That being said, we still created enough opportunities to get ourselves back in the game, and as they say, on another day, perhaps we would have gotten those goals. It's a shame that, of course, it takes an own goal to get us back in the game, but sometimes that's just the way football goes, isn't it? You know what I mean? Spurs got a bit lucky here and there, and we got a little bit of luck as well. It's just a shame that our luck's come in a situation where it's not enough to get us 3 points, whereas I've felt again, another comment we made this week, there's a couple of those draws that we've had this season with a little bit of luck would have turned into wins, and it's annoying that if there is such a thing as wasting your luck, you know what I mean, because that's obviously how it works. On a game like that, you'd rather see us get a lucky goal like that in a game that's 0-0 like Swansea last weekend. See it there, turn a draw into a win, and be very happy that you've been a little bit jammy. On the whole, performance-wise, it's a shame. Luis Suarez, when he got hold of the ball, was deadly. He's just so dangerous. He just causes havoc. I agree to a certain extent with the Raheem Sterling comment there. He was quieter, but a lot of the time Gareth Bale was doubling up on him, and Bale's a fucking monster, and it showed. That was where physically Raheem Sterling does a lot of good work, and he is very strong for his size and his build, but there's the important proviso there for his size and for his build. A few people have said, just on a wider note, that Liverpool have gone backwards and we're not achieving. There's a great point made, and I hope you do check out this week's subscriber show, because although this game has basically fucked so much of what we had to talk about, there's a great point made that even if Liverpool finish in the same league position as we did last year, and we don't win the Carling Cup, and we don't get to an FA Cup final, you can count it as progression, because we'll have done it with far more kids in our side. And the point made is that if you feel, if we're not performing and we're not battering teams and we're not setting the league alight with 30-year-olds and 31 and 32-year-olds, it's harder to make a case that Liverpool are going places and there's progression. Whereas at least if you're doing it with kids and you're being an average or slightly above average, then at least you can say, well, you know what, all these kids will have the experience of the belt and will come back next season better players. That is very much the glasses half full perspective. It's a bit stupid to be talking about it now, because it's not even December yet. Well, so let's not get too downbeat. Let's not start worrying about how the season's going to wind up just yet, because there's a lot of football still to be played, and there were definitely positives to take from there. I thought Agger and Skirtle were just fucking beastly. We played the vast majority of our game 20 yards further up the pitch than Spurs did. And they're a team, let's not forget, that finished 4th in the Premier League. They should be a Champions League side this year. Now, if we come up against the Champions League side in general, we're a piss poor Europa League side by comparison. So let's not forget that. And it is disappointing. And yeah, we want Liverpool to go back to being a Champions League side. We want us to get back into contending for titles and back into the Premier European competition. But we're not there yet, and we're not going to jump there overnight. And let's hope that we can get a few more players in January, but let's cross that bridge when we get there. We've just got to get through. We've got now, with our two most difficult... We talked about the fixture run into 2013 a couple of weeks ago on the show, and we said there and then the two toughest games in that run of fixtures were Swansea City away and Tottenham Hotspur away. Now, we've played both them games. It would have been nice to be able to take at least 3 points out of them. We wanted, looking at it in a fair and balanced way, 2 points, a draw from either probably would have been ideal, really, given where we are in our development or what have you, and in the league, you know. So it's disappointing, but once again, as it should be pointed out, we're always shit at White Hart Lane, so we shouldn't be thinking like this is the fucking sky's falling because we've lost the Spurs away from home, particularly when we put a performance that could have actually taken 3 points. So there you go. Do check out the subscriber show this week if you want to see a bit more uncensored LFC television. There's 2 hours of content this week. There's over 100 hours sat in the archive, completely exclusive, subscriber only stuff. Also, if you're looking for a little tidbit of excitement, there's a little bit more of the Brendan Rodgers interview that we finally dug out, so you can follow an annotation which I'll put up there that you'll be able to go and watch that, as he basically describes how he believes what Liverpool have to do in order to get into the top 4 and qualify for the Champions League. Definitely worth checking out. If you want to watch the subscriber show, it's a little bit like this.
I thought at first it was ridiculous. I didn't think Rafa would take the job. Yeah. When Dean Taylor got sacked, my mate emailed me, he was like, we weren't just talking about it. My dad said at the weekend before, quite serendipitously, and he's an Everton fan, he said, Rafa Benitez will never manage again, he was a shit manager. And I thought, really? Because as he said, I thought he should have gone at the time he left, because he wasn't the manager for our club, because the owners weren't giving him the backing he had, and he'd seemed to have lost a few players and he made some questionable decisions. I never disliked him. It's some of the best Liverpool experiences I've ever had were under his stewardship, and I wished there's an alternate dimension where Bale, Walcott and Ronaldo play in Rafa's Liverpool team and we've won the league 5 times. He just wasn't managing our resources right. That was why I thought he had to go. And I'll probably look back and go, fucking hell, he was doing a better job than the people we got in that time to manage the resources subsequently, and we lost a lot of players that we might have been able to keep because of that. But the perception that he's not a good manager baffles me, because even though I'm not his biggest fan, I think he's a fantastic person. You've interviewed him, I've been at the evening with Rafa and Benitez, we've met him. He's Liverpool through and through, hence the Chelsea problem, you know, living there. And, you know, he's fucking won 2 leagues with Valencia. That's like winning the Scottish League with Aberdeen. You know what I mean? It's a league that's dominated by 2 clubs, and he fucking did it. They slaughtered us when we played them. You know, the football that they had them playing. The
crushing machine.
You know, Aymar and, you know, that team that he had there. He also won the UEFA Cup, which is completely forgotten, with Valencia. Then he only comes to England and wins the Champions League, gets us to the Champions League final, wins an FA Cup. You know, he got a second of a record high points total. And then it didn't really work out that well for him. So if it's purely if it's purely on a points, if it's purely on a football basis, what the hell are you going on about? And then you remember he said they're a false support, they're completely fake, most of them are completely fabricated. Our fans don't have to be handed plastic flags and plastic banners to create false excitement, because we're true football fans and they're not. Would you want him managing your club if he had said that statement in the past? You wouldn't. It'd be like Moyes or Pulis being the Liverpool manager. When they've had statements.
It's like calling a girl a dog and then asking out on a date. And
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, it is. I can understand why certain factions of their fans are not happy, because he said some pretty bad stuff about them, not even the team, not even the players who have since moved on, or Jose. He said about their fans and their club.
Yeah, you know, as I say, if you like it, check it out. Free for a whole month. What have you got to lose? You can always cancel it if you don't like it, but we believe that you won't dislike it sufficiently to think that £2 a month that it actually costs after the month is a rip-off. We think that's very good value for money, but then again, we would check it out for yourself. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. We press on, we look forward to Southampton, hopefully a slightly more winnable game. Touch wood, fingers crossed and all that, and I'll be back for there. If we don't see you on the subscriber show, I shall see you this weekend. Ta-ra.